17-year-old Amy meets and falls in love with Jack. Experiencing the rigorous terrain of young love, she goes on a path of self-discovery before leaving for college. In the opening scene, we see the protagonist, Amy, a short female with glasses and long black hair. While talking to her friends on the train, she notices a guy looking at her friend, so she tries to get his attention. The guy gets shy, but as soon as they get off the train, Amy asks him to put his number in her friend's phone. She is the type of friend to always help her friends out when it comes to guys, but never worries about guys herself. Her friends ask her about her situation and whether she's seeing someone, but she seems unbothered. Later in the afternoon, Amy and her friends get ready to go to the park. Amy's friends tell her that the guy she's seeing is going out with someone else as well, and that doesn't sit well with her. At the park, she pulls the guy to the side and confronts him. He's being indecisive, and that drives Amy mad, so she decides to break things off with him. They sit on the benches and watch the guys from the neighborhood play basketball. An unfamiliar face catches their attention, and Amy's friend T is the brave one of the group as she asks the guys who that man is. They found out that he is the cousin of one of their friends, and as he turns to look at them, his eyes fall on Amy. Amy feels butterflies in her stomach as their eyes meet, which brings a smile to her face. They exchange looks throughout the day, but the guy approaches her once she's left alone. Sitting on the swings, Amy gets approached by the guy who introduces himself as Jack. Despite his efforts to make Amy believe that he's nothing like his cousin, he is still left alone on the swing as Amy gets up and leaves without saying anything. He is disappointed, but little does he know that he will bump into her again, and that will change everything. Sitting at the laundromat, reading her book, Amy hears a familiar voice. She looks up and it is Jack. He continues to ask her questions and she makes it known that she doesn't like it, so he leaves her alone. Walking out of the laundromat, she hears him coming after her. Jack has already caught feelings for Amy, but she does not want to let him into her life. Despite being ignored, he chases her again and asks for her name. She doesn't give it to him, so he offers to walk with her. They start walking, but he quickly changes the side and moves closer to the street. Her mother had told him to always be on the outside, so he can protect his lady. The weekend comes and they go on a date. Amy finds out that Jack is a musician, more specifically a producer, and a composer. His father had been a musician as well. He had come to the city to study, but it didn't work out, so he is trying to break out in the music industry. Jack finds out that Amy is a writer and will be going to college in the fall. One thing they already have in common is that they're protective of their crafts, as both of them refuse to show their work to each other. They spend the whole day together getting to know each other, and as it starts to get dark, they sit by a tree and watch the sunset. Jack opens up about his father and admits to missing him every day. His father's talent and craft will always be with him, as the music never dies. Music is what Jack is passionate about, what he believes in, and his truth. By the way he talks and the way he acts, Amy sees that he is not like any other guy. She realizes that he is truthful and honest with her, and plans something serious. Guided by emotion, Amy makes the first move as she leans in to kiss him, and he kisses back. As time goes by, their relationship progresses. Amy finds herself totally in love with the man. He inspires her writing, and she comes up with some of her best poetry while being with him. Her friends get curious as they notice her spending less time with them, but Amy decides to keep the details to herself. One night, she heads to Jack's place and lies to her mother that she will be going out with T. Amy rushes to lose her to Jack as he is the only one she wants to be with. He notices that she's nervous as she tries to rush things and is quite rough, so he decides to relax her as he suggests playing a soft melody to set the mood. They make love, and it's better than what Amy had expected. They cuddle as he talks about his father again. Jack views his father as a hero, someone who pushed him in life to become better, but is disappointed that he never did. Music is something they bonded over, and it will forever be a bittersweet thing for him. Not knowing how to respond or what to say, Amy gets up to leave, but he asks her to stay. She's uncomfortable as it's her first time and doesn't know how to act, but she ends up cuddling with him after all. Time passes and they're getting serious. Amy decides to introduce Jack to her mother as she takes him to a birthday party where they meet for the first time. Everyone is surprised to see them together. Jack knows that, so he tries to make the best impression. Coming up to her mother Sarita, Amy introduces Jack as her friend, but her mother knows she's lying. Wanting to interrogate herself, Sarita asks Amy to bring her more plates as she will have some time alone to ask Jack everything she wants. Jack's talk with her mother goes smoothly, but it's Amy's friends that go harsher to him. He lets her know how he feels about her friends after the party, and Amy admits that they can be crazy and a bit too much sometimes. Amy's writing becomes deeper. She finds herself surrendering to love and to her feelings toward Jack. He finally feels comfortable enough to play some of his music to her, which she loves, but when she asks when he's going to finish it, he finds himself in an awkward situation and avoids answering. He goes to shower and Amy notices that something isn't right. She wants him to be open with her and feel comfortable sharing some personal things, so she joins him in the shower where they make love. They start being more comfortable with each other. They go to different events and even do some risky things together. They make love one night on a rooftop and end up falling asleep. Waking up the next morning, Amy gets up and stretches completely, letting everyone see her body. Even though Jack's hesitant, he joins her as well, and they both feel freedom as they feel like nothing can stop them. They know they are with their person, so nothing seems impossible. As with every relationship, theirs has some bumps in the road as well. One night, as they're playing cards with their friends, an unknown blonde girl shows up in Jack's apartment asking to talk to him. Jack's friend doesn't want to be involved in the drama, so he leaves, taking tea with him. Hearing yelling from the other door, Amy starts shaking her leg nervously, as she can't wait to confront him about it and get the answers she's hoping for. He comes back and admits that he had been with the girl before he got with Amy. Saying that they haven't talked in a while, Amy realizes that he didn't even break up with the girl before he got with her, and fears that she will have the same fate. She doubts him, but he makes all of that go away once he admits that he doesn't love that girl. Quiet, she doesn't say anything as he gets closer to her. Not wanting to hear him say blank lies to her, she asks him to be honest, so he confirms that he does love her. She can't seem to let go of the fact that there was someone else before, who wasn't treated fair, so she checks the girl's social media, which confirms all of her fears. Pictures of Jack and the girl are all over her page, and at first glance, you can tell that they were a happy couple. Being more suspicious than ever, Amy goes out to get some fresh air as she continues her search. She is frightened and doesn't want to lose Jack, but at the same time doesn't want to disrespect herself for a guy, so she's left in a big dilemma. Wanting to let loose, she goes to a party with her friends and does some questionable things. With alcohol leading her through the night, she dances with an unknown guy and grinds all over him. However, she doesn't know that Jack sees her with the guy when he gets to the party and leaves immediately after that. After some time, Jack comes back and goes to his girlfriend, who's standing with the guy she danced with. Acting as if nothing had happened, Amy greets him with a kiss. The guy she danced with finds himself in an awkward situation as Jack glares at him, so he leaves. Jack doesn't know how to act the whole night, so he ignores Amy for the most part. She tries to find out whether there is anything wrong, but he keeps quiet. Their relationship starts deteriorating from that point as they become more distant. Their lovemaking isn't as passionate as it used to be, as Jack isn't as gentle and caring anymore. They talk less and go on about their day without saying anything to each other. Jack knows that he loves her but can't seem to go over the fear of her leaving him for some other guy. He shows Amy that he is there from time to time, but it's not like how it used to be. One day while getting their nails done, Amy's friend Sarah admits that she wants to try being with a girl. She claims that men don't appreciate the things women do for them and thinks that a woman will. Men can be territorial and believe that they own the woman, but Sarah claims that what they're getting is not even real, as it is just makeup and cosmetics. Amy stops listening to her in the middle of talking as she starts feeling nauseous. Trying to ignore the feeling, Amy takes deep breaths, but once she realizes that she can't hold it in anymore, she heads out and throws up in front of the beauty salon. Sarah goes after her and holds her hair while caressing her back. Being suspicious of pregnancy, Amy decides to buy a test. Standing in front of the stalls, she looks at the products in front of her as every worry goes through her head. She heads to the closest bathroom and takes the test. Shaking her legs like crazy, she waits for the test to show results. After a couple of minutes, she takes the test only to see that she is, in fact, pregnant. Knowing that she will remember this forever, she writes a poem about how beautiful and devastating it is. She will be judged for her actions but is ready for the consequences. She feels numb, she doesn't know what to say or if it's worth saying anything. As if their relationship isn't already bad, Amy distances herself even more, but the love she has for Jack makes her stay. She sits in the studio while Jack's working on a song with a talented singer. Writing in her notebook, she listens to the beautiful song the girl is singing. Jack notices that the girl needs some guidance with her singing, so he gets into the booth with her. This gets Amy's attention as she watches closely what Jack will say to her. She feels the rage and jealousy get to her as he is close to another girl. Jack touches the girl's stomach to show her the way she needs to sing a part of the song, and Amy decides that she's had enough as she goes back to her writing. After finishing the song, they all sit down to relax. A conversation about black artists and the industry sparks, and when Jack's asked for an opinion, Amy listens carefully. Music is sacred for Jack and he believes that each artist will respond to the music in their own way and their own time. A guy from the group chimes in and explains that their time to fight is in the present and as black artists, they should feel obliged to do so. Jack explains that he wants to touch the divine, and plans to think beyond what's happening at the moment to achieve that. Making magic that engages people beyond time and place is what Jack's after. He wants to make music that will be remembered and talked about for a long time. Watching him talk about what he's passionate about brings a smile to Amy's face, as she remembers what made her fall in love with that man. She heads to the kitchen to get some water when the singer comes after her. She thinks that Amy is lucky to be with Jack as she claims that he is a good man. The words stick to Amy as she doesn't know how to respond, but knows that the girl's right. Already having a lot on her mind, she goes back home and heads straight to her room, but her mother stops her in her tracks. Sarita complains about the tuition she has to pay for Amy, but Amy, being fed up with everything, says that she will pay the tuition herself as she starts a fight. She spends the next day chilling with Jack. He notices her being caught up in her writing and asks what she's always writing about. She doesn't want to share her poetry with him, so she ignores him. He starts tickling her and she gets mad about it as she stands up and heads to the bathroom, leaving her notebook on the bed. She washes her face and stares at her belly in the mirror. Her belly has slightly grown, we see as she lifts her shirt and stares at it in the mirror. Coming out of the bathroom, she sees Jack holding her notebook in his hands as he reads through her poems. He is wowed by her work as he claims that she is a lyricist, but she doesn't want to hear it as she tries to snatch the notebook out of his hand. He begs her to read it as he wants to hear the words in her voice, and even though she's hesitant at first, she agrees and starts reading. He points to the last poem, a poem that will forever be remembered as a significant part of their relationship. Amy's stomach continues to grow and her pregnancy is going smoothly. She goes to the doctor for a checkup and sees how much the baby's grown through an ultrasound scan. Her mood starts changing and she finds herself losing her appetite. Sarita grows concerned seeing her daughter quiet and unwell, so she makes dinner for her and Amy to enjoy and talk about what's bothering her. Despite being asked about her situation, Amy asks her mother why her lover isn't with them. But her mother doesn't let it get to her and admits wanting to spend some time alone with her daughter. Having a sudden pregnancy craving, Amy stands up and searches for the jar of pickles. Sarita knows that type of craving, so she gets up and asks Amy to look at her. Looking at her in the eyes, Sarita tries to lift Amy's shirt up but she doesn't let her. Taking a step back, she looks at her daughter with tears in her eyes and walks away without saying anything. Amy decides to keep it to herself and doesn't let anyone know about her situation. Amy thinks that the only person she has left is Jack, so she's prepared to do anything to keep him. She thinks about staying in the city and going to the college nearby, so she can be close to him, and of course her friends. Jack's not sure about the decision as he doesn't want to be the one pulling her back but supports her as he notices that it's what she wants. After a long time of not seeing her friends, Amy goes out with her girls for a drink. They let her know that she is wasting her time for a man that will leave her, but she doesn't want to believe that and claims that he won't. He comes to the table and greets everyone. Sarah asks him why he's late and they shush her as if it's none of her business. Jack mentions the latest murder of a black man in Brooklyn and points out that it's becoming a serious issue. Sarah argues that people die every day and all he can do is pray about it and go about his day, to which Jack responds that she will never get it because she's a female. A fight breaks out as Sarah claims that black women have it harder, and black women are the ones praying for the men, so Jack doesn't know what he's talking about. Not wanting to argue and having enough of the yelling, Jack gets up and leaves. Amy reacts bluntly and yells at Sarah for doing too much. Sarah argues back, claiming that Amy's defending him only because he's her boyfriend. Tired of arguing, Amy leaves and goes after Jack. He walks away from her not wanting to talk because it's too much for him. He claims that her friends are too young to understand and that's why they're always saying crazy stuff. Wanting to be the bigger person and trying to understand, Jack apologizes for acting in such a way. Amy wakes up in the middle of the night only to find the bed empty. Not being able to sleep, she waits for Jack to come back. He comes back at 3 in the morning and is immediately greeted by Amy asking where he had been. Sitting down, he admits to going on a walk to think and the best thing for them would be if they took a break. Rage, anger, and sadness build up in Amy, but she doesn't say anything as she starts putting her clothes on. Heartbroken, she asks why he wants to break up, and he admits being at fault for her career failure as she wants to stay in the city to be with him. He fears them not working out, but Amy doesn't care about that. She explains that their relationship is real and it's rare. He stays quiet when she asks him whether he doesn't like her, and that's what makes her snap. He tries to hug her but she pushes him off saying that he's nothing but a quitter as he quits when things get real. She leaves and over the next few days is forced to make the hardest decision in her life. Staring at the abortion pill, all sorts of thoughts fill her mind. But she ends up taking it. The doctor warns her that she will experience some discomfort when she takes the second pill at home. But Amy doesn't know that she will be experiencing one of the worst pains in her life. She isolates herself at home, not wanting to see or talk to anyone as the time comes for her to take the second pill. Moments after taking it, she starts feeling discomfort in her abdomen. Heading to the kitchen, she drinks a pill to relieve her pain but soon finds herself scrunched up on the kitchen floor, screaming in pain. Feeling helpless, she calls T to come over and help her, complaining that something's wrong. She looks down and notices a red stain on her jeans. Barely making it to the bathroom, she turns on the shower and lets the water fill the tub. Getting into the tub, she cries hysterically as blood comes off her. T sits with Amy in silence, not knowing how to react or what to say to her best friend. Finally, she asks Amy whether she plans on telling Jack, but has no luck as Amy doesn't say anything. Sarita walks in and Amy starts weeping as she can't find the words to tell her mother what had happened to her. Being a mother, Sarita understands and doesn't judge her child. Later at night, Amy goes to Jack's building and waits for him to come back. Seeing him walking to the building, Amy prepares herself to speak to him but he ignores her as he walks by without acknowledging her. She yells after him but he doesn't stop, so she goes after him. Turning around, he asks her how she did it without telling him and she admits not knowing what to do because he didn't want to be with her. He feels betrayed and thinks that she lied to him throughout the whole relationship. It hurts him that she didn't ask him what to do about their baby but she argues that it's her choice because it's her body. Not wanting to listen to her anymore, he tries to go in but she begs him to talk to her. He pushes her out with force and locks the door behind him, leaving her banging on the door. Realizing that he's not coming out, she leaves as tears fall down her eyes. Time goes by, but Amy can't seem to get Jack out of her mind. She weeps as she reminisces about the time she has spent with him, how they met and all the memories they made afterward. Trying to forget him, she goes on a date with the guy but finds herself being uncomfortable. After watching a movie in the cinema, the guy offers to walk her home but she declines and leaves, despite him calling her name. Coming back home, she tries calling Jack for the millionth time, but it goes straight to voicemail. She goes to T's house later and admits to being disappointed in her for telling Jack about the abortion. T apologizes for making a mistake but claims she did that because she loves her. Amy starts crying but T comforts her by saying that strong women don't cry. Wanting to change her life, Amy decides to cut her beautiful black braids and let her natural curls out. After taking a nap, she heads to the shower and gets ready to step outside after a while. She steps outside with an optimistic mind, ready for new opportunities. While surfing the net, she finds out that Diamond, the singer that worked with Jack in the studio, is having a gig that same night, so an idea pops into her head. She goes to the place where she and Jack had their first kiss and plays his melody on her earphones, as her notebook and a pen sit in her hands. Taking inspiration from her surroundings, she writes a beautiful song with Jack's melody. After finishing the song, she heads to the bar where Diamond will be playing and waits for her band to arrive. Once she sees her arrive, she approaches her and asks whether she could talk to her. We see Diamond performing later in the night as Jack enters the bar. Introducing the next song, Diamond calls it a special request from a special someone. The song starts and Jack recognizes his melody, but it is the lyric that touches his heart. A beautifully written song about Amy's life before and after meeting Jack makes him realize what kind of mistake he had made. As Diamond plays her show, Amy has a party of her own at her apartment. Her friends and family around celebrate her going to college. Sarita asks everyone to be quiet as she makes a toast for her daughter. She is saddened by the fact that her daughter's moving away, but wishes her the best and knows that she will make them proud. After the party's over, Amy finds it hard to fall asleep, and soon enough, morning comes. Arriving at the train station, she sits down and waits for the train. Turning her head to the left, she is met with Jack staring into her eyes as he sits down. They sit next to each other, not saying anything. Their silence is louder than words.